Jessica Emily. Katie Ralph. Brooke Martin. Casey Van Buskirk. Brittany Dinkins. Jessica Shelton.
Turn on here and it'll start flashing. There.
Courtney Meyer.
Is it like flashing? On here there's on.
Christine Eisenhower.
You can press that.
Carrie Van Buskirk. Casey Tuttle. And Randy Undering.
There. Press on top to take the picture. Carol from her head.
Thank you very much, Mr. Schneider. We had a little disappointing season, I thought, but the girls played hard overall. They learned a lot. They forgot some things, but they played hard most of the time, and they had fun all the time. So I guess it wasn't a wasted season anyway. I would like to say to the girls that I enjoyed it. We're in the midst of a high school season right now, and I would say that any of these girls right now, if they wanted to take softball serious and play every time they got a chance, they'd fit right in with the high school program by the time they got there. It was fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Drew. Trent Tuttle was our second baseman, and he did pitch a little bit. Briar Funk pitched a little and played mostly first base. Jason Crabtree pitched and played third. Zach McClanahan, when he wasn't in the outfield, was throwing strikes. He also pitched for us. Trent Harrison played second base and the outfield. Andrew Kennedy was our catcher. Daniel Eisenhower played first base. Andy Burrows played outfield, I think left field, and a little bit second base. Jamone Lipsy played mostly in the outfield. Haley Arnett played third. Cole Williams pitched and played the outfield when he wasn't pitching. And Will Wright was our only sixth grader. He was a reserve outfielder. As far as the season went, these kids won just about half their ball games. They played a tournament sponsored by the Park District. Hit here and there somewhere they could have probably won that. It was real close the first game. If they have it again next year, I think the seventh graders we have coming back, we have 3 kids there that could be real good pitchers. We could be right in Jonesboro's space, who I think went to the state tournament this year and won second or third. These kids need to work during the summer. We also need a little more representation out of the 6th grade class. One kid, I mean, I hope there's a lot coming out next year so we'll pick up the slack for those guys. We've already hired a coach for them. He's asked quite a few questions about him. I've told him to start working with Jamone as quick as he can, get him throwing the ball. He throws it hard as probably any high school kid. He may hit someone in the batter's box. He may hit someone up in the bleachers somewhere. But I tell you, if you get him to throw strikes, no one's going to hit the ball. You're not going to catch him if he's stealing. He and Cole Williams are probably 2 of the quickest kids in Southern Illinois. If we had a track team, they'd probably be running next week somewhere. I'm going to miss the 8th graders. All conference, they just started doing that this year. The coaches go where they select Ryan Holland, Trent Tuttle, Briar, and Jason Crabtree. Are all conference players this year. We'll look forward to these kids really challenging next year. I'd like to see someone sneak up and beat Carterville, who usually wins our conference. I think they owe that to us next year. At least beat Carterville twice, even if you don't win the conference. Beat them and rub it in. Thank you, boys. Sit down. Now the introduction of our cheerleaders, Miss Stephanie Kirk. And now for girls basketball. Our 8th graders, Carol Bedard, come on up. Renee Garcia. Amber Rawson. Kelly Ellis. April Mazzeau. From the 7th grade, LaShonda Basenberg. Becky Nance. Nicole Arnett. Amy Barnett. And Alicia Barnett. Kayla Chambliss. We may not have enough room up here. Wendy Stewart. Randy Undering. Terry Van Buskirk. Tabitha Harris. Rebecca Balter. Amber Williams. Sarah Manus. Shyla Kano. Brooke Hawk. Brittany Riddle. Elizabeth Robinson. Destiny Renison. Kristen Taylor. India Lacey. And Brittany East. Miss Hanson, if you would. I don't know where we got all the uniforms.
If I knew all I had to do was sit down there, so I didn't have to talk, I was sitting down there. Cheerleading. As you can see, I had a lot of girls out this year, and it was a lot of fun. To start the season, I just had my 7th and 8th graders and most of my 6th graders, and we had a really good season. My 8th graders didn't have a win, but that's okay. We had 2 girls out this year that didn't play for me. And I think they learned a lot, and hopefully they'll continue playing basketball. Hope all my 8th graders do. My 7th grade team, we had a lot of success. We were right at 500, if not a little bit below. Kayla Chambliss, she was selected on the all-conference team. My 6th grade season, first day of practice I walk in, I got 19 5th and 6th graders. And I look at them and I'm like, what am I going to do with 19 5th and 6th graders? But I think it turned out to be a lot of fun for them. I really enjoyed myself. I didn't realize God had given me so much patience. And I thanked Him every night when I got home. But I learned a lot from them. I hope they learned a lot from me other than just basketball. Thank you, girls.
Now for boys basketball, we only had 2 8th graders, Ryan Holland, Chris Luttle. Now for 7th grade, Zach McClanahan, Trent Harrison, Simone Lipsy, Avery Arnett, Andy Burrows, Cole Williams, Tyler Douche, Eric Gurian, Sean Badar, Greg Arnett, Ricky Jarosky, Joseph Hill, James Wright, and Jordan Evans. This is Mike Denault. He was our 8th grade coach this year.
Thank you, Mr. Geiger. I want to start off by recognizing my two 8th graders, Ryan Holland and Trent Tuttle. Most of you probably know these two boys. They're big into sports. They play both baseball and basketball. Very good at baseball, very good at basketball. Great leaders, both of them. And I as a coach, really appreciated the leadership these two guys were able to offer this year. Because when you have a young team, we only had two 8th graders. It's kind of tough. But these two guys showed tremendous leadership on the floor. They always had kept their head up, and they're very coachable. And a coach really appreciates having coachable kids, I can tell you. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank those two. And 7th graders. 7th graders had a tough year this year. As most of you know, last year when they were 15-3 as 6th graders, which is tremendous. I think it's one of the better records for 6th grade teams in the school's history. This year, since we only had two 8th graders, most of them had to play up for most of the year. They didn't get an opportunity to play 7th grade basketball on a consistent basis. So the record suffered, but I think the experience that they got playing against the tougher competition is really going to pay off next year. We got a pretty good core group of kids coming back, and we did really well in the regional this year. We beat Cobden, and we gave Jonesboro all they wanted for about 2.5 quarters. So I think next year we're going to surprise some people. And we got Jamone Lipsy, he led our team in just about every statistical category. And as a result of that, he was named to the all-conference team. The only 7th grade. Jamone was the only 7th grader nominated to the all-conference team this year, so that tells you that he's going to be one of the better players in the conference next year. It's very exciting to watch, and I think his teammates complement him well. We have a very good passing group of kids: Cole, Andy, Trent, and Avery's good. Avery and Zach are good, and they help him out with the rebounds. So I think that you come out and watch these kids next year, you're going to be pleasantly surprised because they're going to do well. 6th grade. 6th and 5th grade won 3 games this year. And again, we kind of suffered because we only had, I believe, two 6th graders. 2 6th graders. So as a result of that, we only had 7 players total. So as a result of that, the 6th graders got the opportunity to play both in the 6th grade game and the 5th grade game, as well as the 5th graders got the opportunity to play both games. So, every minute they're on the floor is experience, and it helps them to get better. So hopefully that'll show up in the next year. I don't know, from the sounds of things, we need to get a hold of some of these 6th grade boys and get them involved in some sports and give these guys some help, because we're getting kind of thin at the 6th grade level. We only had 1 play baseball and 2 basketball. But, they're pretty good kids, and as a whole, they played hard this year. 5th graders got a lot of energy in these little guards here, so hopefully we'll see some up-tempo game from them. And It should be a lot of fun to watch them play the next couple of years. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. Like I said, the awards were ordered about 7 weeks ago, and they will not be in here until Monday. I will pass out the 8th grade awards now, and that'll be the last thing I do before I turn it over to Mr. Piper. Ryan Holland, would you come up and get your awards? Trent Tuttle. Briar Funk. Kelly Ellis. Jason Crabtree. He never moved that quick getting out of the hallway. Our only 8th grade cheerleader, Stephanie Curley. Jessica Emling. Carol Bedar. Amber Ross. Kaylee Rao. Renee Garcia. And April Mazzone.
Go around, girls.
You need them scrunched together. Thank you, kids. I'm going to miss you in the hallways. You that helped out with the clock. Mr. Dukes, I appreciate that. I do need some help next year. It's hard to fix the clock corner, pay the referees, and do all that stuff, and run the clock. Mr. Piper, do you have anything to say? Anything to add? It's time.